Hey everyone, I wanted to make this video today to describe my experience tapering off Klonopin. So I was on Klonopin for about 3 years and I went to go see a new psychiatrist because my old one was moving. And I told him all the meds I was on and I was like, you know what, I'm feeling good. I want to start taking down some of this stuff. So Klonopin was one of them and I've been off of it for about 4 months and I've seen a lot of different changes in my body and my thinking and stuff like that. And I wanted to share them with you in case, maybe you're going through the same thing, or if you're taking Klonopin, or if you're, thinking about getting on it. But of course, I'm not a doctor. Talk to your psychiatrist and your doctor and stuff like that. This is just my experience. Yours can be completely different than mine, and just wanted to put that out there. So, like I said, I was on Klonopin for about 3 years, probably too long looking back, but it definitely worked for me. It did help with my anxiety. One of the big things that I struggled with was like constantly thinking about worst case scenarios. So like let's say we were having a conversation and about, I don't know, whatever, dogs. And I would always constantly think, what is this person thinking about the way that I am talking, my ideas and stuff like that. I was so worried about what the other person would think about me. It just completely took over like my life. I was so concerned about that for whatever reason. I don't know, probably, I actually have no idea, but I was always concerned about that kind of stuff, right? Illogical, irrational things coming in through my head, and it'd always be the first thing I think of was a worst case scenario type thing. And Klonopin helped with that. I never really thought about those type of things again. I was a lot more confident in my conversation with people, a lot more confident with myself, and I wouldn't think about what people were saying about me, and I felt really, really good. So with that being said, it did work. However, my energy was absolutely terrible. So I'm an introvert by heart, and if you are introverted, like if you go and do something with people or work or whatever, you may need some time to recharge after that. But my recharge time was like through the roof. So if I went to work, I would come home and nap until like, I don't know, it was time for me to go to bed. So I was so tired all the time. And looking back, that's why I probably was on it too long because I was so tired. I think it just like shut my body down so much. Like, of course, I didn't care about what other people thought because I was so friggin' like exhausted and tired. Like, when they say some of this medication makes you feel like a zombie, like, yeah, looking back, I felt like a zombie. So, but at the time, that's what I needed. I needed more mental help compared to like physical stuff. So at the time, that's what I needed. Um, so yeah, that was probably the biggest side effect that I had was just like fatigue, constantly tired. Now that I've been off of it for 4 months, coming off was kind of just it was just weird. I tapered off kind of like I was on a certain amount, then I did like half, and then half of that, and then I was off of it. And I think the whole process probably took about a month. I don't know if that's common, good or bad, but while I was getting off of Klonopin, I felt fine. There wasn't really any big changes. I didn't really feel big changes until I was off of it completely for about 2 weeks, and then I noticed that um, my body like started like I don't know working again. Like I felt more energized. Um, However, I did have an issue with like random. I don't know. I would like my heart rate would increase randomly. I'd shake a little bit, and I think it's because, and I don't know if this is scientific or not, but like my fight or flight like system, I guess, like reactivated. Um, because when I was on the Klonopin, I don't think that was even a thing because I was just so kind of chill and mellowed out. But now that I'm off of it, I when I get into a situation or conversation or something like that, the fight or flight comes on, and that's been kind of the hard thing to deal with now. Is to just when I encounter something or when I do something, is just keep calm. This isn't. I don't have to fight or flight. I'm just gonna do it. But yeah, like so that led to like increased sweating and like kind of jittery, and those thoughts started to kind of come back in, like, oh my God, what is this person thinking about me? And so now the struggle is to kind of just work with like a therapist and think about some strategies to kind of combat that stuff when it comes up. So another side effect that I had coming off of it was that because my energy was so much better, I had a really hard time falling asleep. So usually I go to bed around like, I don't know, midnight or 1 o'clock. There were some nights when I couldn't fall asleep until the sun came up, and I would take melatonin. I don't take sleeping pills or anything, but I would try like some herbal tea. I don't chamomile tea. I'll try that to kind of calm down. I turn the uh, thermostat down so it's nice and cool. I tried a lot of different stuff. None of it really worked, and so it really sucked because that kind of added on to anxiety, right? Like you can't sleep, and it's like, oh my god, this is where all the thoughts and stuff come back in, and it was really hard to turn off my brain too, especially now that with coronavirus going on, and I've been since I work in a school, I've had the summer off, and I've been kind of following that pretty closely, just making sure I'm doing the right things and staying up to date. And when I'm following that, it's hard to turn my brain off at night because I'm constantly thinking about things. And so that's been a struggle. Obviously, that's something I can work with a therapist. But yeah, just stuff like that. So that has been kind of really hard to kind of deal with sometimes. And I no longer take naps, which is a good thing. I think I've probably only taken maybe 1 or 2 naps this whole summer, and it was because I was outside in our like blow up pool or whatever. And if I get a lot of sun, like I just get really freaking tired for some reason. So um, yeah, that was probably the only reason why. So overall, things have been going good, but um, I am a little concerned about when school starts back up. How am I gonna react to these different situations now that COVID is around, and I got to worry about that, and then I'm working essentially without an anti-anxiety med, and I haven't done that in what seems like forever. So that will be kind of a thing that I'll have to deal with. So looking back overall on everything, I'm glad I took Klonopin. Um, I probably didn't need to take it for as long as I did, but I'm glad that I did because while I was on it, I was able to learn ways to kind of deal with all the stuff that would happen um, when I came off of it, right? So when I was on it, I was cool and calm and collected, and I learned about different ways to, you know, when those things came up to deal with them. And now that I'm off, I'm working on that stuff right now. So that's I think the goal, right? Is to I obviously don't never wanted to be on medication for my whole life. It was eventually I wanted to come off and try and see how things go. So I'm kind of still in that stage with everything and still trying to work through some stuff when it comes to anxiety, because I think that is probably my biggest thing right now is the anxiety. It's not the depression. I don't feel depressed at all. It is anxiety. And so, yeah, that's just my experience with everything. If you do have any questions, leave a question down below and I'll try and answer it as best as I can. Of course, this is just my experience. I'm not a doctor and anything like that. So thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.